If you have done years of healing work, I'm talking therapy, reading the self-help books, listening to the podcasts, doing the meditations, buying the courses, but you still feel stuck, and maybe sometimes you even feel a little broken, like I'm doing all the right things, why is nothing working? And then maybe sometimes you feel okay, but just not fully alive, this is for you. And let me start with this. It's not because you didn't do the right things. It's not because you didn't do enough. It's because most healing work stops at the level of understanding and never makes it down into the body. And the body is where real change occurs. Most of the women that I work with are incredibly self-aware. You can name your patterns, you can explore your childhood wounds, you know why you do what you do. For the most part, we all have blind spots. And yet you still find your life looking and feeling the same. You still find your body reacting in the same way. You still shut down to the same kinds of conflicts. You still overfunction in areas where it's really better to give up some control. You still choose people who cause you to self-abandon. You have conscious desires, and sometimes you're even making conscious choices that reflect the kind of life you want to have, that reflect your desires, but somehow you always end up back in the same old patterns, or even if things change on the outside, it doesn't really feel any different on the inside. So there's this quiet confusion that sets in. You're left feeling like, why doesn't my life feel any different no matter how many things I try, no matter how many things I add in? Why do I still feel stuck? And if you've asked yourself that question, why do I know so much, but I still feel like I'm living the same old life? Here's what I want you to understand. Insight does not equal integration. You can understand your trauma and still be living in the effects of it. You can name your attachment style, but still feel governed by it. You can intellectually heal something that your body doesn't yet feel safe to release. Because healing doesn't complete itself in the mind, healing completes itself in the nervous system, the place where we originally felt safe when that wound occurred in the first place. And while insight is really valuable, it is the first step of the healing journey. We have to have awareness, but at this point, your body isn't asking you for more awareness and more cognitive insight. Your body is asking you for the clarity and safety of lived experience. Your body's asking you to expand your capacity to hold more of what you want, as well as more of the discomfort required to actually heal and not just understand our wounds. Let's break down the difference. Intellectual healing sounds like this. I know where this is coming from. I understand my pattern. I've processed this before. I can even say it out loud. I can talk about it without feeling the emotional charge of it, without feeling disrupted by it. I can connect all the dots and name what happened and why and how I was impacted by it. Embodied integration looks like this. I can actually go into the emotional charge of what happened in the past and honor and acknowledge any remnants of emotion that are still there, whether it's grief or rage or sadness, whatever it might be. I can go there without collapsing into it. My body responds differently now. I can be in experiences with the old triggers and choose a new response. I can feel fully without collapsing or without armoring and guarding myself. And that is agency. Embodied integration is when your body no longer needs the old strategy because it knows that you're no longer living in the past. You're living in the present moment where you're not being exposed to that old wound again and again and again. And this is why so many people feel like they've plateaued in their healing, not because they're doing something wrong, but because this next stage that they're being called into, that you're being called into, is no longer about fixing yourself. It's no longer about managing your emotions. It's about fully inhabiting your body and your life. By the way, this was true for me too. For a long time, my protective strategy was to be perfect, was to do everything I possibly could, to do all the healing strategies, to read every book, to be the perfect healing student, right? To check off all the boxes so that I knew I did everything I could to be the best version of myself. Even in healing practices, whether it was a yoga class or meditation, I would try to do the most perfect version of it, the most advanced pose, the longest meditation, the deepest meditation, the best whatever it was. And I was doing all of that from the perspective of feeling like there was something wrong with me that needed fixing, rather than experiencing sensation and feeling from the inside out. Because what actually changed my life was finally learning how to feel and be present with sensation, with emotion, with desire, with pleasure, with discomfort, without abandoning myself, without going into the old stories, staying with what is true in this present moment, and expanding my nervous system's capacity to be with those emotions and sensations. That is what changed my life. That is what gave me access to all of the things that I was striving and hustling for so long. And the wild thing is, it wasn't about more effort, it was about more embodiment. All that time that I thought I just had to do more, throw more of myself at the project of my life, and then I would finally get somewhere. I would finally earn it. I would finally prove myself and could be proud of myself because I had worked so hard to change my life. That didn't get me where I wanted to go. Learning to actually feel what I was feeling, even all the really uncomfortable, shameful, frustrating stuff, that is what moved the needle. So if you are in that in-between place where you're not new to healing, you've been around the block, but you still feel like you're not fully living, I want you to know that you're not broken. You are simply in transition, a really, really wonderful transition from the phase where it's all about what else can I do? What else can I learn? What other insights can I gain? To what can I feel? How present can I be? How much goodness can I allow into my life? How much can I feel the present moment without judging it or making it wrong? And this channel is where we talk about that middle ground, the bridge between healing and living. It's what I like to call the messy middle. We as a culture love the idea of before and afters. We want to see what you looked like before and what your body looked like after, how horrible your life was before and how great it is now. But so much of life is actually lived in that vague, nebulous, messy in between. And when we allow ourselves to settle in there, that's actually where we open ourselves up to more of the joy, the love, the connection, the success, and abundance that we were keeping at bay, pushing away until we had healed enough, until we felt good enough, until we were worthy enough. And you are already enough. You always have been. You've also already done enough. Now, the work, the real work, is to not do things just to fix yourself, to check items off a to-do list, but instead learn to fully inhabit your body and your life. And if this resonates, I've put a few ways to go deeper below, from my 7-day toolkit to building emotional resilience with some very simple guided practices that you can follow along to reconnect to yourself and expand your nervous system's capacity. And if you're ready for more of this kind of feeling of embodiment in your life, I also have a women's program, a practitioner training, and retreats that I run every year. I will link all of that below so you can get in on the goodies. And for now, just know this: you do not need to fix yourself, because you are not a problem in need of solving. You just need to feel safe enough to be here.